So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to wherever you are in the world. My name is Denise Armenio, and I am here as your Genius Bio practitioner, Genius Bio feedback practitioner for Insight Health Apps. And I am also a certified emotion code body code practitioner. And I have a special guest with me today. I have Alejandro.
Thank you so much.
And pronounce your last name for me.
Andrade.
Andrade.
I'm
Okay.
Mexico. It's Alejandro. Many people call me Alex. It's easier. And my last name is Andrade. Andrade. Andrade.
Okay, great. Well, Alex is here with us today as a special guest, and he is an amazing practitioner located in Mexico, and he is going to share a lot of his tips and tricks that he uses in his practice. So we're going to get to that in just a minute.
Thank you.
And I also just wanted to say we are using one of the new builds that came in today. So hopefully everybody will see how well it's working, and we'll start getting familiar with how it works. Just be patient if some things may take a little bit longer, but it's working really well, and I'm really excited about it. And I also just want to give a big shout out to Ryan for all his tireless work on working on getting this out to all of us, because it's really going to be amazing. So anyway, I am also going to be the volunteer today because I have added the libraries to myself. So that has already been done, and we won't have to take time in waiting for those to render on the Genius app today. So anyway, with that said, Alex, would you like to take it from there?
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here in your class, Denise. Thank you for all the Insight Health Apps team that has always been available to us practitioners and users. You have been there. Now it's an international community. Well, and I'm very happy. We have Europe here. We have America here. And thank you so much for having me. And I do like the new build very much. I think the efforts for to have an updated version of our great device is so amazing. So I thank all of you for the efforts made to make this happen. And it's going to be live soon, I think. And it's great. So I'm glad that we have the chance to use the new build for our viewers. Thank you.
So why don't I start, and I'm going to continue with the new analysis for me.
Exactly.
And we're just going to press that on the bottom. So, and now I'm going to leave my, going to record my voice. So I'm just going to hit the microphone up top here and leave my 15 seconds. Denise Michelle Armenio, A-E-I-O-U, 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 A-E. Okay, so now that that's complete, we can still go down here to the bottom left and hit voice harmonics. But first, I just want to double check in the back office what is going on with the frequency, shape, and form, just to make sure. I had set it up earlier. I just want to make sure it's still there on the setting that I like. However, do you prefer it on a different setting? I like to use the archetype encoding 50%. I just did super conscious select. I can redo that and see if anything has changed.
I like nature sounds, but let's see what comes up.
Well, it cleared it. Let's just hit super conscious select again. I don't know. chimes and bells. We can add, would you like to hear what the nature
Yeah,
sound?
nature, sure, absolutely, if
Okay, and
possible.
I'm gonna
Yes,
just gonna
thank
take
you.
chimes and bells off.
It would be good though, Denise, to tell people why do you choose archetype encoding? Why do you like that, and why 50%?
That's a great question. Well, let's start backwards. I do 50% just because I want it to be as potent as it can be for me. I
agree.
am used to working with frequencies a lot. So for myself, I don't have to worry about it being too strong. If it's a new client, I would start lower. But for myself, I know that I could handle it at 50%. So that's why I
That's
keep it
right.
there.
That is
Archetype
great. So people
encoding.
need to be, you know, we need to test. So whatever works is fine.
Right. For archetype encoding, that to me, I just feel like that works better for me.
Okay.
I don't use the sonic signature very often. That's not to say that it may not be better for someone else.
Perfect.
And also when I'm working with a client, because I do muscle test, I can muscle test that question. So I may not always have the whys, but I trust my the muscle testing to get the
but
right
whatever is done, it's fine. You have said that several times in your classes. There's no way we can do wrong. So
Correct.
let's try and let's play a little with this frequency, shape, and form, and let's see what works best for ourselves and our clients.
Okay. And so then for down here, we can clear this again and we can see what the super consciousness selects. And it's selecting allergy management. So I'm just going to trust that that is there. And then for waveform, I use alternating because you don't know which waveform might be best. So I just feel it's better to get a little bit of all of them.
Sure. And especially for a general scanning, yeah, I would use the alternating too.
Okay, great. So we are in agreement on that. So now I'm just going to go to next.
You didn't hit a voice harmonics though.
1 second, because your voice is lowered when this is going. I'm sorry, what?
No, I was saying you didn't hit voice harmonics. You don't have to. You don't have to, but it's advisable to do it. It's okay. You know,
I can't go backwards from here.
No, it's okay. I think we should go ahead. Yeah.
And I can take a new picture. And so here I am. And we can use this one. And I'll hit begin analysis. And continue. Okay, so I am going to I'm going to hit begin analysis here. Okay, now as still a teaching segment here, the Genius uses algorithms. So the categories that show up on the top are the ones that the Genius is finding has the most energetic disturbance for me specifically. So it's saying that the mind is the area with the greatest energetic disturbance, then something from my custom libraries, body, and then the bio field after that.
Yeah, I would like to mention something about this because it's important, because people have asked that. Yeah, the mind is at the top, and then libraries, and then the body, and so on. But if you scan yourself again, you know, in a minute or even less, we might get a shift in this order, and that's fine, because we need to understand that energy is flow. So if it's flow, we're right now it's the mind, but maybe a minute later it would not, because, you know, we're using the mind. We're a working process being. So So it's okay, whatever it is, it's okay. And it's not that important. You know, it doesn't mean that we need to focus only on in your mind. You know, we need to focus on many things, not only the mind.
Right. I'm just going to stop here and ask Lisa's question. Lisa, it does ask for affirmations. I had already started a scan and I backed out and I hit the bottom, begin a new analysis. And I think that's why it bypassed it. But it does ask for it. I will double check that again later, but it's fine that it didn't ask for it now. It's just because of the way I entered in this session for me. But thanks for asking. Okay, so as mostly everybody knows, the Genius works on a numerical value system, 0 to 777. 0 to 100 is represented by the color blue, and that is observed to be chronic energetic disturbances. It's also could be considered under energy, and in Chinese medicine, like stagnant energy. Right. From there, we go to 101 to 450, and that's represented by the color green. Then we go to 451 to 688, and that's represented by the color yellow. And then from 689 to 777 is represented by the color red, and that's considered to be acute energetic disturbances. So they're disturbances that are happening in the present time. And that could also be considered over energy or heat or inflammation. When we use the quick balance down here on the bottom on the red, it works with only the red and blue items that are on the page, and it will run that balance just on those items, just red and blues. When we're using the quick zap, which is up here at the top, or the main hold tray, then we can add by using the plus key down here for whichever tray you want to use. Will allow you to add in red items, yellow items, green items, blue items. And if depending on what your focus is, you may want to expand beyond the reds and the blues and take in some of the yellows and the greens. And often a good rule of thumb when doing that is to add the items that are 600 and above and 200 and below. And the reason for that is often when working in the main hold tray, those yellow or green items, when we do the analysis, might actually show as a high priority to work on. So we just want to make sure we're not overlooking anything.
Yeah, but if you want to choose a green or a yellow, whatever your intuition says, please go ahead and do it, because this gives you a priority. It's like a map. But maybe you can, you know, maybe the client or the user is saying, you know, I have this and I have that because it's important to them, but not necessarily it's a priority in the energetically speaking. So please go ahead and use whatever you feel you need to use. It will be fine. Absolutely.
And that's a great point. And, you know, often what you hear myself or other practitioners when they're doing these videos or trainings, we try to give you guidelines, but nothing is set. You can work with the Genius, you know, however you want to work with it. And you can't really make a mistake because the body is going to only take the frequencies that it needs. So it's not going to take in any frequencies that might harm your body. So
absolutely.
After you get more fluid and used to using it, you can begin to be creative and work with it in different ways. But these are just guidelines that we're offering. So what I want to do first, before we start doing any balances, I'm just going to go down to look at the aura so we could get our aura picture. So I'm just going to click on the line for aura. And this rectification is here from before, so that's why that's showing up. But anyway, so I'm just going to hit begin analysis. So you do see, so we are seeing the aura looks differently. It's formatted and it appears different than it
It's a
looked
beautiful
in
aura.
the old build. So here we're seeing some more colors, and you kind of see the layers more of the aura than what we were seeing before. So it is kind of neat how we're seeing it now. So it's quite interesting. And for those that are using a MacBook Air with the M1 chip, you can play a little bit with the view. Right now, I have it on portrait orientation. If you were to look at it at landscape, it looks a little bit different because it's like kind of zoomed in. So I like using it right now on the portrait orientation because you could get, you see the full screen of it there. So in case you do have it on landscape and it looks different, just go to change that setting, and that's why it may look a little bit differently for you. But so anyway, let's go back out of here unless you want to add anything.
No, I just want to mention that the aura it's important, but I would not judge a session, a scanning session, by looking at the aura. The aura is energy, and it will be different a minute later. So let's not focus that much into the aura. It's fine, it's good, it's beautiful, it's nice to talk about it, but it's not the most important thing for the running session.
So exactly. And I like it because it does show that the energy is moving. So it does show that we're making shifts, even though it's shifts in that specific moment in time. But I do like seeing that. Okay. So now.
Where to start, Denise? I mean, let's do a general, session. Where would you start by looking at this?
Okay, so generally for me, when I start a session now, I always will do the primer to make sure that I'm getting all my primer, the minerals and the biofield. And I have done that. I can go into my custom libraries and I have that set up with my bioterrain. Hopefully.
That's very important because most people do not do this previous scanning, previous way of helping the scanning sessions. So I think the primer is something so important. I think I learned that from you, and I do it now. It's very good because you are preparing the person to be scanned. And some people say, yeah, but that will help people. And then when you scan them, you might not find what you would have found whether you didn't do that. But this is not how it works. We're improving and we're helping and we are doing things. We're shifting energy. So that's fine to do the primer.
Right. I am going to do something here. Hold on. Okay. We just need to back out for a second. Sorry, guys.
Why? Because it's taking too long?
Yeah. Hold on. Sorry, I know that you can't see my screen yet. 1 second. Here we go. Okay, so we're just going to load the current client results. So we're back to where we were. I just want to put it on portrait. You can see everything, right? Okay, so let's go into general overview So I'm going to do that by hitting, actually, we won't do that. We can go and we'll add minerals
Sure.
and we will add digestion, amino acids and vitamins. I have those all in my primer, and we can add everything from the biofield in here.
Yeah, now we have 100 items in the main whole tray. So that's a very important thing for the new build of the Genius.
Mhm.
Whenever you put into the main whole tray any library like minerals, it will add all minerals.
Correct.
Before in the old version, that didn't happen.
You
Now
were just
it's
hitting the
happening,
title
and
before.
it's very good. And be careful, because if you add viruses or bacteria or whatever that is, you will add hundreds of items. So just be aware.
We'll look at that in a minute. Hold on, but let's go and run this. This is kind of like the primer. So we're just going to run this quickly. We can run this. How would you run it? I tend to run it for 1 minute just to see where we're at. And if
Yes,
I need more time.
I actually learned this from you, and I liked it. I do like rescans, and 1 minute, I think it's very accurate.
Me too. So I love the way it sounds.
Yeah, it sounds
Reminds me of
different.
whales. Yeah, it is. And again, important to always drink water. So
Yes. That's a funny sound. It sounds like my son playing a musical instrument.
yeah, I know. I like it though.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have down at the bottom, you can see the average percent rectification is 52%. I started talking about this briefly for the new build, and you will see that when you look at harmony, alignment, and energy flow, there's a bigger like disparity between each
Yes.
of those now.
I noticed that.
And I like it. It's giving us more specific information. So we really want harmony, alignment, and energy to flow to be more in line, the same percentage. So if you're seeing that disparity, it's really telling you, even though the average percent rectification, which might be 52%, is good, you're still not balanced within that percentage. So to me, and what I've been finding is that you would want to run that again. Now it's not so bad here. I mean, I've seen sometimes where like harmony could be at 90% and alignment could be at 13, and that's really off. This isn't too far off. You go between 64% and around 43%. So it's better. We could rescan this. And, this is up to you. I'm kind of letting you, would you want to run this again on all or highs?
Yes, I would like to run 1 more minute at high, only the highs. It's important to let our friends know that percentages that we get, they're indeed important, because it's telling us something, but that's not something good or bad. Having a low percentage does not mean we're doing things wrong. It means that sometimes people are not getting the frequencies in a way that we would like. and that's fine. It means that people, it's reacting, and if you keep doing it, especially if they have a quanta capsule, it's fine. So let's not worry that much about the percentage. We obviously would like to see 100, but that's not always possible, and it's okay.
So no, and also, you also know that when you get a low percentage, that those items are, not budging for some reason.
Exactly. They're being stubborn,
Exactly. So sometimes it could just be the case of the client being dehydrated, where they need
Sure.
more water. I've also found occasionally that if you just go to like one of your solutions, and those could be like flower essences or crystals or herbs, even just by adding one of those, that could cause like that ripple effect where it just breaks
Absolutely.
up, and it moves that stagnation where you're able to clear it. So
Yes. I usually use frequency solfeggio 528 just alone in the quick sap for a minute or so, and then I do see different outcomes when I do that.
right, and that's a great example of just using that as a solution. So anyway, let's just run these highs here for 1 minute. Claire and Michaela, I just made you co-host. I didn't realize I hadn't done that already. Adina, yes, you can always Celtic salt or Himalayan pink salt. You absolutely could add it to water, or you can put just a little bit of the Celtic salt on your tongue, and then let that absorb first, and then drink your water. And I actually learned that from Alex. He sent me a really cool
yeah, it's very
video
good. It
on
feels different
hydration.
though. It feels different because I get this salty taste after that, and it's not bad. I think we should try, and then, but the important thing is to be salty, because we're salty inside, so we need to take likewise, salt water.
Right. So now this is the percentages on the bottom are exactly what we were just discussing a second ago. So the harmony is 90%, alignment is 90%, but energy flow is 15%. So, here, so what would you suggest? I mean, I could tell you what I suggest.
Sure.
But every week, so.
It's nothing bad. That's the first thing I would like to say. It is what it is. So 90%, it's very high, but I think we can go a layer deeper if we want to. So I never do all in the first run and then all in the second run, because we are running. It's like let's say a minute each. I prefer to do 2 minutes, but I would like always to do different things in each run. So we have run all. We have run the highs after running the all. Now I would hit rescan again, and decide what to do. What I normally do is I choose highs, but then I see the yellow ones, the medium and the low, and I choose some because I see that at the bottom there are many important issues, like let's say magnesium, like a mineral. Magnesium is so important that I will always send that frequency to me and to my clients, always. So because now you're like this, but maybe 5 minutes from now or tomorrow, when you do your session with the quantum capsule, if it's the case you have it, then maybe the magnesium will be very important tomorrow.
Mhm.
You know, so that's why I use my intuition, and I select some, for example, vitamin C, it's important, zinc and things like that. So,
So here,
I go and I choose. I always
so,
go to the bottom and then go up.
so I scroll down to the mediums. So what would you like to select from here?
Well, the stomach, I think it's quite important. Everything that has to do with the digestive system is something that we always should be looking at, because if we have an unstable digestive system, then let's talk about other things. But if our digestive system is not stable and it has some issues, why go to other things that it won't matter? So for me, digestive is a must. So everything that sounds digestive, I would select. Conception vessel, I would select too. Zinc, I would select too. The chakras, I like the chakras. The chakras are, you can balance a chakra, but it will be unbalanced, the minute after, because there are many things going on. So, it's always a good idea to be balancing the chakras, regardless. That's what I would do.
Okay, there's a question that just came in from Terry, and she's saying, Dr. Drake has said that the highs have an energetic intensity versus the blue. Is this the same in this panel? Terry,
that's a good question.
It's a very good question. The way I work with this panel, with the highs, medium, and lows, it's not the same high like the red on the previous panel, or the low isn't. The low here, which is shown in green, isn't like the blue.
Yeah, there isn't any blue.
In my interpretation of the genius, and it's how we all tend to work with it. Here in Progressive Insights, it's saying it's viewing all these items in relationship to each other. So it's different when you look at it in the other panels. So when it's looking at all of these items in relationship to each other, the ones that are represented as high are the ones that have are the highest priority to work with.
Exactly, that's a priority issue.
The lows aren't as important to work on it, but as we run these balances each time and you rescan, the algorithms at play is going to adjust what the highs, mediums, and lows are. So, vitamin K may be high now, but if we run it for 1 minute, that may drop down to low, and then you're going to have others that are more out of balance, or have more of an energetic disturbance that become the priority to work on. So,
it's like a river. The river is not always the same, so it's running, it's flowing.
It's balancing that scale, and we're looking at all the items together. So as one shifts, they all slightly shift. So Terry, I hope that answers your question. Dr. Drake may work with it slightly differently, and that's okay too. But this is
paying attention to low items is not a bad thing. It's maybe you're balanced right now because of what you have done. You drank water and things like that. But if you believe that a low item in this list is something that you need to add or send a quantum capsule or whatever, please do it. There's nothing wrong you can do.
Right. I also think often Dr. Drake deals with a bell curve a lot. So she may be looking at, you might have like your highs, lows, and mediums. So she may be wanting to balance out the highs and lows to bring you more to homeostasis. Again, when we're working with the quantum field and 0 point energy, we're using intention. So although this is very abstract, if my intention to use it is what the highs as the priority, that is how the genius is going to work. And that's how it's And that's just how it will work. If Dr.
Absolutely.
Drake or anyone else's intention is that in this screen, she's working with the bell curve and she wants to bring it to the median point, she may want to work with the highs and the lows.
Absolutely.
Again, a lot of this is based on intention, and it is based on how we are using it. So it just, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, I always suggest to listen to the client, listen to the user, listen to you. There are items that are medium or low that you might want to add because, my stomach hurts or, whatever. So we have to listen to our customer, our client, and based on what they are telling us, we can make decisions on what to select.
Right. So let's start moving down and see which other ones you want to add in here. Do you want to add enzymes? That's part of like your digestion.
Yeah, lithium, I think I like lithium.
Yep, I agree 100%. I always work with lithium.
Heart meridian is something that I always like to,
Anything else? Esophagus.
I hate when you ask me that because, I tend to add almost everything. The genius is so well built that everything might be important, but sometimes we have to select. I tend to select a lot. I know that some practitioners, prefer less because less is more. But sometimes I do believe that more is more. And it's my intuition because, there are a lot of frequencies, different frequencies that we're choosing here. But I think we are so well built that I think we can manage lots of instructions and lots of frequencies because we are receiving frequencies anyway, from the environment. So I tend to choose a lot. So,
so I don't know if
grounding it's so important. You already selected that.
Yeah, I selected that one.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to move this along.
I like vitamin A when we talk about vision, eyes, and things like that. It's always important. Sacral chakra I also like because of the digestive thing that it's involved in the sacral chakra. If you would please.
Oh, sacral chakra.
Yes,
right?
Thank you.
Pancreas.
Pancreas is so important for the digestive system and itself. I mean, it's an extraordinary organ.
And anything else you're saying?
The golden ratio I like. Governing, you already selected that. Beautiful. I think that's enough.
All right.
We have plenty.
1 minute on this?
1 minute.
Okay.
I usually go 3 minutes, but for the sake of the time that we have here, 1 minute is fine.
Okay, so another big mysterious shift here. So harmony is 93%. Now alignment is 2% and energy flow is 40%. So the energy flow is coming up.
Sure,
now,
absolutely.
But it threw the alignment off. So, this is a demo. So we can, move out from here if you'd like. I mean, this could
Yes.
sometimes take a while to balance. And
Yeah, I wouldn't go further because, it can be endless, I
so
wouldn't go further.
it
It's
could,
fine.
yeah, I have found though that you can balance, get a little bit better with that, just run it a little longer. So if it wasn't for a demo, I would say maybe run it for 3 minutes. And that would help close that
Absolutely.
gap
If you
there.
have the time, absolutely, I agree.
But again, this would definitely tell me, even though it's at 45%, that there's still stuff in here that really needs to be played with. And, I wouldn't stop at the 45%. I would continue going under normal circumstances here. But let's go back out to the system page. I'm just going to clear this main hold tray, if that's okay with you.
Absolutely.
And do you want to go to the general overview? Or?
Yes, let's remember that we're not looking for something specific here. So we have, two ways to do this. If a client or ourselves, want to address something in particular, we'll look for it, and that's fine. But what if a client does not say anything? And, let's see what shows up, let's see what my body is saying through my voice and things like that. So we need to address, the whole thing, the mind. I always look at the mind, the biofield, and the body, always. It's not only what comes at the top. That's important, that's priority, that's fine. But we have to look everything, because I do believe, well, it's not only I believe, it's a knowledge. I do know everything is connected, everything is integrated. So looking at only one thing, I think it will not be enough. We have to, address. So right now in the body, we're seeing, vitamins, amino acids, digestion, and so on. And then you go under. I always like to go to today's stress, because today's stress it's an item that the Inside Health Apps company has included. It will tell you things about you. What should be addressing. It's also important. So I don't see any red, but I don't know. Would you please go higher?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes, I see acid and brain. Those are important issues. So acidity is something very common. Brain is something very common. So if you ask me what the pattern of items I see in general in people, it's hard to say, because everything is important in the system. So let's address. Right now we need to focus on that. Maybe tomorrow will be a different thing, and that's why we need a continuous support. It's not just one scan and that you will be fine forever. It doesn't work like that.
Right.
We need to be scanning and running ourselves and people over and over again until the body adapts, and the mind and the body and the spirit adapts to this new environment of energy, and that's when you can let people go.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, acid for me, it's important because we need to make sure your environment, your own environment, it's not that acid. We need to lower the acid, not the stomach acid, but in general, your
Mm-hmm.
cells acid. Heavy metal toxicity, I've heard Dr. Drake to talk about it very often. It's important that, many people don't pay that much attention to heavy metal toxicity, but I think it's important.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Lymphatic is, it's so important because it's the drainage. It's something that needs to work fine. So lymphatic makes sense to me to include it in your running session. It makes sense.
I agree there too. So is there anything else, or do you want to?
Virus, but I'm afraid that if you include virus, it will include all the virus in the system.
No, not here.
Not there?
Yeah, because I've already included it actually.
Perfect. Thank you.
So it doesn't.
That's fine. Yeah, I was so afraid to put
a virus only has all the different viruses when you look in Entangled Insights,
okay,
but not here.
You're right. And emotional, obviously, emotional is always important. So let's not be concerned if emotions show up, because it's so normal nowadays to see emotional issues coming up.
Okay, so we have almost about 10 minutes left. So how would you like to?
I think glands are important.
You want me to just
again, everything is important, but I will ahead, please go ahead and include all the glands.
Okay, so
I would do that.
Showing you what came up.
It doesn't matter
the way the new build.
That's very good. We don't see any reds or blues.
But we do have some in the 600s, and that doesn't mean when we do progressive insights that these won't show.
But glands are so important because all the chemistry of your body had to do with glands. So I would go ahead and include the whole library. If you go back, please.
Okay, and I just want to show everybody here.
Yeah.
So if you look at glands, notice that I have 6 items in the main whole tray. If I were to drag glands now down, it goes from 6 to 17, and that's because it automatically added all the different glands, which you can see here. So it just makes it a little bit quicker if you just want to grab.
Would you please go to organs? Let's see what shows up. Brain again. Now we're seeing patterns sometimes, because if I see one item isolated and maybe but if I see 3, 4, or 5 times items related, then it will tell me where to look, because the genius to me is like a map. Without it, we will be blind. I mean, where to begin, where to start. This is a very well way to start, using the genius.
So would you go back then, and then if you go into brain anatomy?
Yes, please.
Now we can drag and drop and have all the brain areas in there.
And they have added some other parts of the brain, and that's beautiful too.
Yep. I did add the brain anatomy, so it jumped. I added all of these, but
that's a good idea. People would say, add only what is red and blue. Yes, I would agree with that too, but I'm not sure tomorrow what will bring to you. So if we are doing, a scan per week, 1 scan per week, then you have to wait 7 days to do the next scan.
Well, you just don't know. So let's just take that theory that it's only showing the midbrain as red and there are no blues.
Go ahead.
But if we go now to the main whole tray and do an analysis, it's possible that more than one brain area shows up, which it is. We have the midbrain, we have the corpus callosum, the pons, medulla, so a lot, hypothalamus.
And the third one also.
So brain
anatomy,
brain anatomy in general.
Hindbrain.
A lot of the different brain areas showed up. So
yes.
That is why sometimes just adding them all, because again, progressive insights, it looks at everything in relationship to each other. So
yeah, what you just did is fine. You can always go to progressive insight and see what comes up and then go back. So we can keep doing that.
So do you want to go back out and look at?
Yes, I would go back out, because there are many things that will show, and because of I think benefit of time. Solfeggios to me are something very harmonizing, and it's always a good idea to use solfeggios. Always a good idea. So whenever in doubt, use them, even though we don't see any.
So do you want me to add all of them, or?
I would add all of them.
Okay.
Yeah, but the one I like the most is 528, but I think all are important.
Okay, so I just added them all.
They're very harmonizing,
and we can go back out here for a minute. And
essential oils, Essential oils are so great. I learned that from Tang the nurse, Tonya, who is here, and I thank very much. She has taught me a lot. She is a specialist in essential oils. I would use essential oil. Let's see what it's in red and blue. And wow.
So you want me to add the reds?
The reds and the blues, please.
And so there's a bunch of
Beautiful.
different blues in there.
Beautiful. I would add also frankincense. It's
Oh yeah,
that oil I
frankincense.
always
And myrrh.
always use it. It's in the right in the middle. It's
Did I pass it?
Yeah, you passed it. It's in green.
Oh. Oh, I see.
There it is. I always use that one.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so
That's perfect.
did you want to go to general overview, or do you
Not
just?
yet. Would you please go back and go to emotions in the mind? Did you notice that when you rescan, now mine is at the bottom?
I did.
At the very beginning, it was at the top.
Yep.
So things shift,
Mhm.
and that's fine. That's why you have to go up and down every time. So I would add all the reds and blues in emotions. Based on my experience, a customer keeps asking, why I have envy or anxiety or sadness when I don't feel sad and things like that. It's important not to discuss that because, those are names and emotions are mixed. There are millions of emotions, but not millions, but thousands of emotions. So don't worry, don't discuss that. It's okay. I mean, not because it's sad, you're sad, It's
Absolutely.
So
we can also absorb emotions from the people around us.
Absolutely. And many emotions you don't know of.
And also our brain can't distinguish between reality and watching a movie. So if we just watched a really sad movie and we're sad because we had feelings of sadness from watching that movie, sadness can show up, although I may not in general be sad, but that could be why sadness would show up. Or a lot of times you see horror showed up. If you watched a really scary movie and you were horrified, that could show up as an emotion, but not because I am in general, but because I just experienced that emotion and it didn't, for whatever reason, pass through. It got stuck a little bit. So it's showing up there and needs a little help.
And there are many clients that say, I don't feel emotional these days, so I don't know why your system brought emotions as a priority. Let's say we shouldn't discuss that, because we need to respect the client. It's okay. So, but emotions can be beneath. I mean, maybe she's not conscious about those emotions right now, and that's fine. And if you feel, if you want to include them in the running session, just do. But don't discuss with the client saying, no, you are so emotional and emotions are bothering you, blah, 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 because that's not good for them. It's okay.
I agree.
You go easy on that.
I agree. So we have 5 minutes left. How would you?
Would you please, I think we can go ahead and go to the main whole tray and run that for 1 minute.
Okay. So all of them for 1 minute?
Yes, please.
Okay, so
I don't see the percentages, but what did you get?
the harmony is 35%, alignment 76, energy flow 52, and the average percent rectification is 54.
I think it's I'm happy with that, and you will need to be running this more, and that's also fine. So if you feel like stopping here, that's also fine. If you want to go further, you can always rescan. So let whatever comes to your mind, whatever comes to your heart in that moment as practitioner. If it's okay, for example, right now I think it's okay. Let's stop there. And the percentages are good, in general. And that's my feeling. And why should shouldn't I go to a guide? There's no guide like that. We need to know how to use the system, but we need to also use our intention, our intuition, things like that. So I have a very few conclusions that I would like to share with you. And one is, everything is related. Everything is integrated, everything is connected. So we cannot treat only one thing and forget about the other. So we need to put things together, and that's how the genius is so helpful in that matter. Then we need to address the cause, the origin. We need to go to the cause. This is the only opportunity we have to go there. And we cannot do it ourselves sometimes, well, most of the time, but the system can help us address that. Then we must know, not only believe, but know the extraordinary healing capabilities and resources that we have to heal, within us. We must take the responsibility. We cannot give the responsibility away. So we as practitioners, we need to encourage our clients and even ourselves to take responsibility, to be conscious that it's our issue, it's our well-being, it's our health, and that it's not someone else's responsibility, it's our responsibility. And also we need to put and to set a protocol. It's not one thing. We need to put many things together, because when you put many things together, they're so strong, they're so powerful that will shift things somehow. And the last thing is important. We are work in process beings. It's not a finished thing. We keep changing every time, not only the energy flow, but our cells die and reborn. So we need to understand what we're different each day. Maybe a year from now will be new, absolutely new. So that's why it's important to be supported by these devices, by these tools, because we need, when we renew, we want to reborn better. And that's a way to do it, doing what we're doing here. So I think, we're in the right place. And I thank very much this great community. We have everything. We have Dr. Drake that knows, lots of things that I learned a lot from. And we have this team. So let's move on. Let's be enthusiastic about it. Let's be happy that we have this beautiful device, and we will be much better. I am absolutely sure. So you're getting the after aura. So we will see a shift. Absolutely, I'm sure.
So let's just see. So the aura showed.
It changed. And let's not be afraid of colors. Now in this new build, colors are different. Are not the same that we used to have, but that's also fine. So let's take whatever we have here. I see a beautiful aura. Very emotional.
I think in here is showing some interference.
Sure. It needs more work, but we will always say that. We always need some work, and that's why we will continue scanning ourselves, every day, or using the Quanta capsule. Let's keep going on with the flow of this healing extraordinary device. That's what I would suggest.
So it is extraordinary, and it's
It
so
is.
great, and I love always hearing, different practitioners' experience and how they work with the genius, and so it's been wonderful to hear your
Thank you so much. Let's make a shift. It takes the same of effort to change a little or to change a lot. I'm much more into big changes,
Mhm.
not small, because decision, all it takes is a decision. So thank you so much, Denise, for having me here. I watch you every week, and I follow Dr. Drake, and I follow, thanks to Claire, thanks to Connie, thanks to everyone, Michaela, thank you so much.
Oh, well, it's a pleasure, and hopefully you can come back again another time. And
Absolutely, I will follow you.
all right, well, thank you, everyone, and stay tuned. We're still, tweaking the Genius 2.0, and it's getting better and better every day. So we can't wait until it's officially released. And thank you again, Ryan, for working
Thank you.
so hard in
Thank you, Ryan.
getting it to where it should be. So anyway, have a great week, everyone.
Thank you so much.
And we will see you next Thursday.
Be safe. Thank you.
All righty, bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.